People always ask me why I don't fight more. The thing is, they're right. It isn't just the stuff that family and friends normally poke you with. I really should have moved on in my career by now. I should have accomplished something in life. But the answer to that question, why don't I fight more? It is bitterly simple and maddeningly haunting. I guess it just happened so long ago that none of them think of it. It's because of she. She was a woman who made even the least creative people want to describe the world in colors. I fought for her with all my heart and everything I had, and she left me for another man anyway. He became her champion years ago, and either he still is or someone else has taken the role. It was never offered me again. I will not share my memories of her any more than necessary, as they are mine, and it seems to me that each time I share them they lose some of their original clarity and luster. Ask me for memories of baseball games and concerts, and I'll gladly indulge, but not when it comes to she. Whoever he is the one who plays delicately with her hair in bed now, who holds her dainty hands, who lightly strokes her cheek with the back of his hand, who kisses her neck slowly and fully and moves his lips up to her earlobe with nothing but nonchalance. How will I ever truly be happy as long as I have the memory of she? There are books to read, I suppose, but whether poetry or prose, she always becomes the lead in whatever I read, or watch, or when I sleep or eat or breathe, and thus a never-ending soliloquy. I have an entire room in my house reserved for sports cards and comic books. I collected them before she entered my life, and while I was with her I stopped collecting. But ever since that awful afternoon it is my only passion, if you can call that a passion. It is one joyous thing I always had that never involved her. There are so many boxes and crates and binders and books that sometimes I picture the closing scene in Citizen Kane when the camera shows the overhead wide-angle shot of the incinerator room, full of all of his things, his collected things. The audience gets to see the sled go into the fire, but no one else notices, thus ensuring that no one in that world will ever know what it all meant, Rosebud, etc. Sometimes I picture looking down on my cards and comics from the ceiling, like it is a miniature of the cityscape in the final scene of that film. What gets thrown into the fire, though, are all my memories, bit by bit, all my memories, moment by moment, all of my memories of she. In go the memories of the most enchanting green eyes with a blue tint, eyes that actually did sparkle at times. Her left even had a nuanced little triangle of color just outside the rest of the iris, as if politely pointing your attention back there if you let your gaze wander. Eyes that were so gorgeous when open that were only matched by eyelids and lashes when closed and peaceful, and then only because I wanted peace for no one in the world as much as for she. All of that into the fire. Her smile was one of quick flashes, but often short duration, so if you wanted the chance to revel in them, you really had to pay attention in order to be mesmerized, while her laughs were her sincere laughs. Oh, her sensational laughs were much harder flashes to come by, but endured seemingly hours after they had actually ceased. Smiles and laughs into the fire. Her upper lip was perfectly thin like certain comic book heroines, and her bottom fuller but not at all like a comic book heroine's, lips that could ask and receive kisses from anyone at a moment's notice and which practically demanded such when they were silent. Into the incinerator. Head drunk again now, while remembering loosely running my fingers through her hair as her head practically floated over my chest. Her whole damn body always seemed so light, so impossibly light, like a bird, a dove, and me a goddamned ostrich. How I loved when my fingers would temporarily get stuck in her hair like that, watching her dark silhouette against the slightly lighter walls and ceiling, moving swift as a hummingbird, freeing my hand as if by magic, returning to her prior perch on my tingling body, but not before engaging me with those lips. Just thinking about her kiss floods my mind with memories too hard to transcribe anywhere near fully. Like the kisses themselves, granite connection with some deeper understanding of the universe that ended with the termination of the kiss, and always left me immediately unable to describe the second her lips moved away. It was also temporary, and no matter how her hair changed in shade or shape or length, it was always there to mesh our daydreams into sweet visions, always feeling in the morning as though we had shared all of those splendid night thoughts, All of it. Into the fire. She was always my true fantasy. She was always my ideal. She was always the most beautiful woman in the room, and that room encompassed the entire fucking world. She always became uncomfortable when I would suggest such with others. True beauty, at least in her case, I guess came with a touch of grace and a bit of ignorance when in matters of self-reflection. She was always the woman I most wanted to talk with, share conversations, hypotheticals, just to get to know as thoroughly as I possibly could, even while knowing I could never possibly get enough, and I hoped she wanted that from me too. All ablaze. She's the one I most wanted to spark with or drink some wine, just to loosen up together and be in that buzzed, loose, laughing, free state. As the end neared, I hoped that this would allow me to send her a message in a bottle, but it wouldn't matter a bit if I could burn all those memories, because the ash from them would simply shoot up the chimney, into the clouds, and eventually leap back down to earth, where I would undoubtedly find it while simply trying to savor a smoke. The truth is, if it hadn't been for that short time with she, the earthbound angel, I never would have felt true, blood-draining, heart-stopping, wing-clipping pain. Pain so severe that all I could do was stand there in the doorway and watch her as she left. As was the nature of her soul, she seemed to dance to her car, and I stood there, unable to move or utter a syllable. She turned to me, just as she was about to hop into the car, and gave me a forced quarter or half smile, and it was the first time her lips were ever silent to me. They did not ask for a kiss, and all they signaled was goodbye. And then I watched her leave. I just stood there and I watched her leave. I just stood there. I haven't seen her since, but I also never would have felt any real love at all, and certainly not a moment of true love. Yeah, my memories will remain mine, whatever the cost.